very much helping them win those flags. Or what about Brendan Favola, who was a star at Carlton, one of the best forwards ever. But there was a little bit of attitude problems, behavioural issues, and subsequently he was traded to Brisbane in 2010. A good trade for Carlton, but terrible for Brisbane. Now Brisbane actually ended up getting rid of Daniel Bradshaw and Michael Riscatelli in efforts to get him to the club. Well, that's what they thought. In the end, Brisbane actually only ended up giving the Blues pick 12 and Lockie Henderson. Lockie Henderson was a very consistent defender for a number of years at Carlton, and Fev played one season at the Gabba, and he was sacked in the 2010 off-season. So one of the worst trades, and one to forget for Brisbane. Oh, how about Richmond, who sent fucking pick 19 to the Dogs to get Jordan McMahon to the club. Now, Jordan McMahon, fucking hell. I mean, we'll start with the Dogs. They used that pick 19 that Richmond gave to the Dogs to get Callan Ward, who was a great servant for them, and has continued to be brilliant at the GWS Giants. And big old Jordan over here only played 34 games for the Tigers. What an absolute fucking L. Now, this trade is actually a lot more interesting than what it first seems like. Jordan McMahon was very, very key for the Dustin Martin trade. Now, Richmond and Melbourne, for that matter, were terrible for a long period of time, but there was a game in 2009 where McMahon kicked a goal after the siren, and subsequently Melbourne finished last. And you know what, from that goal, the fact Melbourne finished last, they got pick number 1 and 2 in the 2010 draft, or 2009 draft. And then in pick number 3, the Tigs took Dustin Martin. Now, if McMahon didn't kick that goal, there's every chance, if not 100% chance, that Dustin Martin would have ended up at the D's or elsewhere. Or how about Josh Gibson, who went from the North Melbourne Football Club to Hawthorn, where he won 3 premierships, was one of the best defenders in that generation, and North Melbourne only received 2 mid-round draft picks. One of them was Aaron Black, who played alright, but the other was a guy called Aidan Kennedy, who did fuck all. One of the many fails that North Melbourne have had in the trade period. A bit of an interesting one here, there was a trade between North Melbourne and Adelaide